In this video, we will review Set 1 from the 4-star sight reading curriculum for RCM Level Prep A. This video is a companion for your own 4-star sight reading curriculum workbook. You should complete the exercises for a day in your workbook and then come to this video to watch the section for that same day and verify your answers. We will move through each day pretty quickly, and this is to be watched after your answers are already complete. This video does use titles, and you may find that they are the easiest way to navigate the video. Simply look for the title that includes the day that you have studied, and you can go straight to that section of the video. Let's get started with day 1. Before you continue, you should have already pulled out your book and completed all of the day 1 activities. What you are about to watch is like an answer key for what you have already done to verify that you did it correctly. This is the page for day 1 activities. Activity 1, name the starting landmark note and finger of each pattern, then play. Pattern 1 begins on treble C with right hand finger 4. Pattern 2 begins on bass C with left hand finger 3. Pattern 3 begins on treble C with right hand finger 1. The final pattern begins on treble G with right hand finger 3. Activity 2 is to tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Because today's example is in 4/4 time, we will tap in one measure of 4 beats before we begin today. Writing in the rhythm words is a good way to prepare. Today's rhythm words are ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, ah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, ah. Activity 3. Draw arrows to show the direction of each pattern, then play. Beginning in pattern 1, drawing an arrow under the note head shows us that this pattern is clearly moving up. In order to prepare to play, we're also going to look at the starting position, finger 1 on middle C, and the time signature of 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In pattern number 2, an arrow drawn over the note heads clearly shows that this pattern is moving down. We will begin this pattern on middle C also, but with our left hand thumb, and we will be in 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. For activity 4, we are supposed to play a root position C major triad, broken and then blocked. Sing the root C followed by the third E. C will be the bottom note of the triad, and E will be the middle note of the triad. Moving along to day 2, before you watch this section of video, you should have already finished all of the activities in your workbook. Remember, this is a checkpoint for you to make sure that you did it correctly. Here are the day 2 activities. Number 1, name the starting landmark note and finger of each pattern, then play. The first pattern starts on bass F with left hand finger 3. The second pattern begins on treble G with right hand finger 5. The third pattern begins on bass C with left hand finger 4. The final pattern begins on treble C with right hand finger 2. Let's look at activity 2. Tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Today's rhythm is in 2/4 time. The top number tells us how many beats are in each measure. So to tap one measure of beat with our hand or foot to begin, we will be tapping 2 beats. Next, I suggest writing in the rhythm words and practice saying them. Today's rhythm words are ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, ta. One, two, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, ta. Activity 3. Circle the pair of repeated notes in each pattern, then play. In pattern 1, the repeated notes are in the last measure. To prepare to play, we will identify that the starting note is bass F with left hand finger 2, and this is written in 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the second pattern. The repeating notes here are also in the last measure. This pattern will begin on treble G with finger 1 in our right hand, and it's also written in 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Activity 4. Play the bass clef melody in today's 3 sight playing activity 1 octave higher and using your right hand. Begin with finger 4. Putting a box around the bass clef melody from number 3, this is the melody that we will be playing 1 octave higher with our right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are ready to go into day 3 activities. Once again, please make sure that you have already completed the activities in your workbook before you watch the next section of video. This section of video is to verify that you did everything correctly. Let's get started on day 3 activities. Activity 1, name the starting landmark note and finger of each pattern, then play. The first pattern begins on middle C with right hand finger 1. The second pattern begins on bass F with left hand finger 1. The third pattern begins on treble G with right hand finger 1. The last pattern begins on bass C with left hand finger 4. Let's take a look at activity 2. Tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Today's time signature is 3/4 time. The top number is 3, so that is how many beats will be in each measure and how many beats we need to count in before we start. Next, I suggest that you write the rhythm words and practice saying them before you begin to tap. Today's rhythm words are ta, 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 1, 2, 3, ta, 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 ta. Activity 3, draw arrows to show the direction of each pattern, then play. This is just like day 2. In pattern 1, our arrow is going up, but there are also repeating notes. To prepare to play, I noticed that the first note is middle C with my right hand finger 1, and the time signature is 2/4. There will be 2 beats in every measure. 1, 2. Moving over to pattern 2, the arrow is going down. To prepare to play, I noticed that the first note is bass F to be played with my left hand finger 2, and the time signature is 4/4. There will be 4 beats in every measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Activity 4. Add staccato marks to the quarter notes in today's sight playing melodies, number 3, and then play each melody again. Let's place those staccato marks only on the quarter notes for each of these melodies. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are getting ready to move on to day 4. Remember, first you should do the activities in your own workbook and then come here to watch this section of the video to make sure that you did everything correctly. Welcome to day 4 activities. Let's get started. Activity 1. Name the starting landmark note and finger of each pattern, then play. Pattern 1 begins on bass F with left hand finger 4. Pattern 2 begins on treble C with right hand finger 2. Pattern 3 begins on bass C with left hand finger 2. The final pattern begins on treble G with right hand finger 4. Activity 2. Tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Because today's example is in 4/4 time, the top note means that there are 4 beats in every measure. To tap in one measure before we begin, we will be tapping in 4 beats. The next tip is to write the rhythm words down and or practice saying them before you begin. Today's rhythm words are ta, ti ti ta, ta. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, ti ti ta, ta, ah. Activity 3. Draw arrows to show the direction of each pattern, then play. Pattern 1's arrow is going up, but it is important for us to note all of the repeating notes here. To prepare to play, we notice that our first note is going to be treble G with our right hand thumb, and there are 3 beats in every measure because we are in 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3. Today's second example also travels up. There are repeating notes in the last 2 measures. To prepare to play, we will notice that our left hand finger 5 will be starting this melody on bass C, and this one is also in 3/4 time, 3 beats for every measure. 1, 2, 3. Activity 4, make up your own words to go with today's sight reading melodies, which are number 3. Then play each melody again while singing your words. 1, 2, 3. I want to go play outside. 1, 2, 3. Time to go outside. At last, we have made it to day 5. Before you continue, please go through your activities in your workbook first. Remember that the activities that are to follow here are just for you to check to make sure that you did everything correctly. Let's jump right in to start our day 5 activities. Activity 1. Name the starting landmark note and finger of each pattern, then play. The first pattern begins on middle C. Because it is drawn in the bass clef, we know that it is to be played with left hand finger 1. The second pattern begins on treble C with right hand finger 5. The third pattern begins on base C with left hand finger 4. The final pattern begins on treble G with right hand finger 2. Let's move on to activity 2. Tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Today's example is in 4/4 time, so we will tap in 4 beats before we begin. Next, write in the rhythm words and practice saying them before you begin. Today's rhythm words are ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, ta. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, ta. Moving on to activity 3. Sing the words while you clap the rhythm of this nursery rhyme. Then play. This is hot cross buns. Let's prepare to play it by first looking at the direction that the notes are moving and using arrows and circles to identify the repeating notes. Now let's look at the starting position. Right hand 3 on treble E. The time signature tells us 4/4 time. There will be 4 beats in every measure. Singing and clapping the rhythm will be a great way for us to prepare to play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, play hot cross buns 1 octave lower with your left hand, beginning with your thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. You have finished all of the activities for all 5 days of set 1. Great work this week.